if we have less black representatives, and if we have representatives who aren't tied in deeply to the black community, we know that unless things are focused in to come to us, they don't come to us. They come to us secondarily, or at a third level. And so, in these types of ways, whether it's one less um, a government project in an area that could bring greater employment, that, and even if you don't have a job, it might bring greater tax revenue into your local school system, right? Or there could be concerns, again, in the national space about deregulation, where they want to deregulate to allow some industries to do well, but the regulation might have been ensuring that actually the worker in those industries were actually benefiting as well. And so, that could have ramifications in our community.
You're really talking really about, I guess two narratives, and something, because some headlines say there's a robust macro economy right now, but like you mentioned, that may not, trickle down. That may not be the reality for African Americans as far as their livelihoods. So how do you explain this paradox, if you will, to the average American worker who's hearing conflicting reports?
Well, and I will kind of double this as well. I have kind of two different frames around this. Like, one, for a long time, for decades, we've had an economy that increasingly benefits the wealthiest Americans. And so the economy can be going straight, but the work can be going strong, but the worker can be having a lot of challenges. And so, just because corporate profits are up, or even Wall Street is up, it doesn't mean that the wages of the average American are up, or the savings of the average American. And then you put on the reality of racial economic inequality. And we know that African Americans, generally have twice the unemployment rate of whites, generally have around 60 to 70% of the income of whites, and generally have, not even a third of the wealth of white Americans. And so how the average American is doing is usually much better than how the African American is doing, or how the Black American is doing. So, we have to look at both of those things. That, is the narrative around how, or is the kind of economic analysis on how well corporate leaders are doing, or is it how well the average American is doing, and are they looking at African Americans in particular to see how we are doing, or how Latinos are doing, or how those who haven't historically benefited from the economy the same way that others have?